Every September, the tech calendar goes into overdrive. Apple drops new iPhones that feel familiar, refined, and predictable, and just when it seems like the month is slowing down, Meta steps in and reminds everyone that the future isn't waiting. So after wrapping up one event, I flew back to California, expecting another demo-heavy presentation. What I didn't expect was to be handed something that actually felt finished. Less than a year ago, Meta showed me its Orion AR glasses. They were impressive in the way a concept car is impressive, wildly advanced, borderline impractical, and clearly not meant for real people. The materials alone were insanely expensive. The system overheated. Battery life barely lasted an hour, and you needed a separate computer nearby just to make them work. Orion proved Meta could build the future, but it also proved that future wasn't ready yet. Fast forward 10 months, and suddenly Meta is showing a real product with a real price and a real release date. These are the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses, and despite the simple name, the leap forward is massive. Instead of full augmented reality overlays, these take a much smarter approach by adding a single display into one lens. It's only visible in your right eye, positioned slightly off-center, so it never blocks your vision. Think of it as a quiet little heads-up display that's there when you want it and completely invisible when you don't. The display itself is shockingly good. It's full color, sharp, and bright enough to be used outside without squinting. I tried these in direct sunlight, and the screen never washed out. Even more impressive is how discreet it is from the outside. With earlier prototypes, you could always tell when someone was using the display because light leaked everywhere. With these, unless you're looking from a very specific angle, you'd never know there's a screen in the lens at all. Control is where things get really interesting. Instead of touchpads or buttons, everything is handled by a neural band worn on your wrist. It reads tiny electrical signals from your muscles, letting you control the interface with subtle finger movements. Scroll, select, go back, adjust volume. It all happens naturally after a few minutes of learning. What really blew my mind, though, was text input. You can literally write by drawing letters in the air, and somehow it actually works. I was typing full sentences almost instantly, with barely any mistakes. It feels futuristic in the best way. Another huge improvement is that everything now lives inside the glasses themselves. There's no external computer, no wired accessory, no awkward setup. Yes, the glasses are thicker than normal sunglasses. And yes, you can tell there's technology packed inside. But compared to what Meta showed last year, this is a night and day difference. They weigh just under 70 grams, which means you're aware you're wearing them. But they never feel uncomfortable or distracting. Design matters a lot with something like this, and Meta clearly knows it. These look better in person than they do on camera, and they come into clean color options. Black and sand with matching neural bands. This doesn't feel like a tech demo anymore. It feels like something people would actually wear. Even the charging case deserves praise. It folds flat when the glasses are out, holds multiple extra charges, and is genuinely one of the smartest accessory designs I've seen in a while. It has one of those details that quietly shows how much thought went into making this a real consumer product. Now, Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses have already been around for a few years, mostly used for hands-free photos and POV videos. So the obvious question is, what does adding a display actually change? To answer is almost everything. You finally get a visible interface, which means you don't have to rely on voice commands for every action. You can see what the camera sees, review photos and videos instantly, and interact with your content without pulling out your phone. Features like messaging and video calls suddenly make sense on glasses. Navigation is a standout. Two-turned, bi-turn directions appear right in your vision and move with your head, which is incredibly useful if you're walking or exploring a new place. Live captions might be the most powerful feature of all. Transcribing conversations in real time and even translating languages on the fly. It is one of those things you don't realize you need until you see it working. All of this comes together in a product launching at $800. That's expensive, no question, but it's also less than I expected, considering what's packed inside. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Meta is taking a loss here just to get these glasses into the real world. That said, this is still a Meta product, which means privacy concerns and a very controlled ecosystem. Most apps are first-party. There's no app store yet, and everything lives inside Meta's world for better or worse. Despite those drawbacks, it's hard not to be impressed by how fast this technology is moving. In under a year, Meta went from an unrealistic prototype to the best display-equipped smart glasses I've personally tried. The presentation didn't do them any favors. Live demos struggled, Wi-Fi failed, and things got awkward, but the product itself is far more convincing than the keynote ever was. Once these glasses actually ship, I think we're going to see a flood of content showing what they can really do. And for the first time in a long while, they made me seriously think about a future where we constantly pull phones out of our pockets. We're not there yet, but this feels like a meaningful step in that direction. Whether that future is exciting or uncomfortable is still an open question, but one thing is clear. Smart glasses are no longer just a concept. They're here, they're improving fast, and they're starting to make sense. Ray. Ride it.